I think that the biggest mistake with people coming into real estate is expecting stuff just to be thrown into your lap.
If you're a veteran agent or work with veterans as an agent, this video could completely change the trajectory of your real estate business forever. Tapping into niches are one of the most important things when it comes to scaling your real estate business. You've likely heard the quote, "The riches are in the niches," or niches, and that is very, very true. And you are most qualified to help the person that you used to be. So if you are a veteran yourself, then who better to serve than people who you can align and relate to? So today I brought on Ken Murillo, who himself is a veteran, but has built a wildly successful real estate business from absolute scratch. And today he breaks down exactly how he did it by tapping into the veteran space and talking all things about how to properly leverage VA loans, how to tap into that community, and how to really build your sphere and pipeline of people who are just like you. Now, before diving in, two quick things. Number one, Ken does talk about leveraging social media, so I will link all of his incredible accounts below. And number two, I will link Ken's calendar link below in case you would like to chat with him privately one-on-one about getting his personal help to help you scale your business in either a niche of your choice or being like many people who have partnered with Ken, a veteran as well. So without further ado, let's bring on Ken and dive into all things veteran, VA loans, how to tap into that community, and how to build a wildly successful real estate business. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another exciting video where today we've got on a very special guest, Ken Murillo out of Michigan. And his specialty as an incredibly strong producer has been working with veterans and leveraging multiple strategies that we're going to unpack in this conversation, especially if you are a veteran wanting to tap into a community that you align and relate to the most. So Ken, really excited to have you here and seeing your wild success of being a multiple time icon agent now, and being able to tap into this niche in such an authentic way. So welcome to the channel, my friend.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Mike.
Yeah, this is going to be cool, man. You know, you're obviously a serial entrepreneur. You're about as Michigan as it gets when it comes to, your passions and hobbies. But before diving into the, tactical side of how you've tapped into the veteran community, I'd love for you to kind of just unpack your story. What got you to this point? How maybe other veterans can relate to that story, and then we can start diving in.
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, it started off in 1996 is when I joined the Marine Corps. I went to boot camp in August and graduated in October. And all growing up, it was my passion to be a part of the military. It was just a matter of which service that I wanted to be a part of. And of course, I chose the best one of all, the United States Marine Corps. Hoorah.
We'll see that in the comments. Comment below which one's the best.
Yeah, we'll do a little poll or something to find out,
Yeah.
So I joined as a small arms repair technician, so pretty much a gunsmith. Any of these small arms weapons that the Marines carried, I was able to fix. They would break it, I would fix it, and then send it back up, make sure everything was good with them. And then in 2002, I actually became a recruiter, and that's what brought me to West Michigan because I'm originally from Southern California. So in 2002, I came to Grand Rapids, Michigan as a recruiter. And I think that's where I got the actual passion of helping people, because of the fact that I was able to help young men and women in bettering their life, doing the same thing that I did by doing something bigger than themselves and servicing our country. And I did that for about 4 years. And then I went back to my regular job in the Marine Corps. And it took me probably about 7 months to realize that I wanted to get back to recruiting duty. So then I went back to recruiting duty in 2008, and I ended up becoming a career recruiter and retired in 2018. And upon my retirement, I was, having to figure out, what do I want to do after the military? And that's it's scary because, it's the fear of the unknown. Here I am, guaranteed a paycheck the 1st and 15th of every month. Now going into, okay, what am I going to do? But my wife's best friend had convinced me, and then also Fritz Ball, he convinced me to look into real estate. And I looked into it, and that's where my passion began. And that's pretty much once I became a real estate agent and realized that there are not that many agents out there that are very familiar with the VA home loan process. that I took it upon myself to start educating myself on that. And that's pretty much what got me into the VA portion of real estate.
Yeah, that's it. That's incredible. And again, just knowing that you've got a servant's heart and you genuinely enjoy helping people, and that's a passion of yours. It's tough for people to come from an act of service to then find another, role in life afterward that will allow them to continue that passion. And
For
so
sure.
I think this is a beautiful way that you've been able to do it. And again, you and Fritz being business partners is awesome, to align with people and partner with people that understand that same journey. So take us back to that first year, and it's like, okay, you got into real estate, you've got this experience, as a, you're now a veteran. How did you start to build momentum in the beginning of that first year in order to get to the point where now you're obviously, wildly successful and a really strong producer, helping other agents now increase their production,
Mhm.
doing what you've done. But what did that first year look like for you?
Well, I mean, I have to let you know, I accredit the Marine Corps to everything.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because being a recruiter for 16 years out of my 22 years of service, I just took what I learned on Marine Corps recruiting and I applied it to real estate.
Hmm.
Obviously changing anything that says Marine Corps to real estate or your
Yeah.
home, and I applied it to that. And I think the biggest thing that I took and that I utilize is the fact that the data analysis,
Mm.
the 90-day cycle. It took me 30 days to find a client, 30 days to find them a house, and then 30 days to close on the house. So the 90-day cycle before you get your first payment. And to realize that I had to put money into something before I was going to get paid from that.
Yeah.
That was something that I realized really quick. I'm like, all the fees that you got to pay up front, I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, I'm paying all this money and I haven't even closed on a deal yet. But I mean, it ended up working out. And then I always stuck to that. You're not working for this month, you're working for the months to come. And as long as you maintain that mentality, you're going to end up being successful, which, I mean, that allowed me to be the rookie agent of the year for 2019 in the Grand Rapids and greater Grand Rapids area
Yeah.
because of what I took from Marine Corps recruiting, applied it to real estate, and now is continuing my success, and I'm passing that on to the agents who come under me.
That's amazing. I think, that's something I'd even like to unpack a little bit because, there's a lot of people that come into real estate, and we all know that the number one reason why agents fail is mindset. And they're, the average agent that comes and maybe doesn't have an educated background, doesn't have an active service background, is kind of coming in and just saying, woe is me, I don't have the tips, the strategies, the tutorials, whatever. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd love to get your opinion on this. The mindset, the work ethic, the grit that you develop from being in military, I'm sure that also transfers over in order to say, okay, I have to manage my time. I have to be diligent. I have to be consistent. Like you alluded to, putting in deposits before expecting anything in return. Do you want to talk about kind of just the mental grit and fortitude that you develop from being in a line of work like that, and how you've been able to transfer that mindset over to real estate?
Mhm. So that's one of the things that we always talked about is those intangibles, the things that you can't touch, the
Yeah.
things that are going to assist you in being successful, not only in life but also in whatever career path that you end up taking. Self-discipline, self-reliance, being willing to take on challenges, even bigger and better than yourself. Those are the things that I've learned, and I think that the biggest one would be self-discipline
Yeah.
because we as agents, I mean, one of the big reasons why I got into real estate was not only to help people achieve that American dream of becoming a homeowner, but at the same time to be my own boss, to have my own schedule, to make my own schedule. But with that comes, you have to have that self-discipline. You have to know that you still have to wake up in the morning and get dressed and get ready for work, even if you're not going to work, even if you're only going down the hallway to your office to jump on your computer to do work. You still need to get ready as if you were going somewhere. Having that discipline is going to allow you to be able to have the time management required to be successful within real estate, because Without time management, you're shotgunning it.
Yeah.
You're that bird shot out there, just going everywhere and trying to figure out what's going to stick and what's going to benefit you. But having that time management and like Louis always says, being able to time block.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. And I'm not perfect at it by all means, but that's something that I try to stick to, is that having that schedule, which allows, and having the discipline to maintain that schedule is important too. So the intangible things that I've taken from the military, focused on, pushed it towards real estate. Those are the things that are allowing me to be successful right now.
100%, because that's where you see so many agents go wrong, is that they design a calendar but they don't follow it, and they like the idea of it but they struggle with the discipline to execute on it and treat it as non-negotiable. So looking at that first year, before we go on to how you've been able to scale, becoming rookie of the year in a market center is pretty incredible, and that's no small achievement. So how did you get your clients? How were you retaining them? Were you just reaching out to other people that you knew from military? Like, for somebody that's also a veteran, maybe first year in the business, or struggling to get clients, what would you say to them, or how did you do it to start actually generating clients?
So the first thing that I turned to was something that's free, which is social media marketing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I did. I was a big stickler on not paying money out of my pocket because I wasn't making it yet. Again, the things that I wanted to spend money on for marketing were things like, like my shirt. It has my logo on it, so therefore it's something that is tangible, that people can touch.
Yeah.
It's not going to just go away. I'm not going to pay, $25 a month or whatever for this marketing tool, and then after that 30 days is gone, then nobody ever sees it again. Yeah. But social media, with it being free, I could throw stuff on social media and it sticks or it doesn't stick, and then you can figure out what's working and what's not working, which is a big reason why I ended up doing a business page on Facebook, so that I can see the analytics and see what's working and what's not working. But my first year, that's all it was. It was doing social media marketing, to the point to where even within the first 4 months of me being an agent, I ended up giving a social media class to other agents who have been agents for years, because I, again, took what I learned in the Marine Corps for recruiting, applied it to real estate, and now I was teaching. I think that day that I taught, it was actually 2 days, I believe I trained over 68 agents in social media marketing, and just took what I learned, applied it to real estate, taught them, and ended up the money that they paid for that class, I ended up donating to a nonprofit, 92 for 22. So
wow, that's amazing, man. I think that's so cool. And again, helping people understand that you have to pay to play, but the payment doesn't have to be monetary. You could pay with your time. And I think a lot of people get caught up in the fact that they start burning money straight out the gate, just thinking that traditionally this is how it has to be done. But we're in a time and an era where it doesn't have to be done that old school way. And I would love for you to maybe dive in a little bit deeper as to what you were posting, so that people can get an idea of, like, were you sharing your family? Were you talking about military? What type of content? So that they can get a bit of a understanding of the content that was generating your business.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, at the beginning, it was mainly focused towards just trying to find somebody who's looking for a house. It wasn't specific to anybody. It was just, I needed to find I needed to find clients. So it was more of a finding houses that were for sale that I thought looked nice, so I would repost them, and when I was going out and showing houses, I was just taking a picture of something within the house and sending it out. If it was an article, or just do like every other agent does. If you see somebody else post something, you like it, guess what? Steal it, duplicate it, yeah, send it out. So I mean, that it just went like that. My first client actually ended up being a Marine Corps recruiter out here, because at my retirement ceremony, I let everybody know, hey, I'm getting into real estate, so if you're looking to buy or sell, hit me up. So, and that ended up being, it was pretty much right on the 30-day mark that he ended up turning to me and asking for assistance. And then we ended up going under contract. And my first accepted offer was a VA offer in August of 2018. So that was a pretty amazing, which then allowed me to, once I put it on social media that I had that, and you know the way that the algorithms work, you put something veteran out there, and then all of a sudden all these other veteran posts start coming up. And a military mortgage boot camp, I think is what it was, from my buddy Brad Stenson. I actually helped him join the Marine Corps too. So come to find out, he is a lender that specialized in VA home loans. So then I connected with him, and it just went from there, getting the education required to know the process, because the VA home loan has that bad stigma that it takes forever, or it doesn't appraise, or, the only reason why they want the zero down payment is because they don't have the money to buy a house, that type of thing. So, but going back to what you had asked, it's like, as soon as I started posting about VAs, I started seeing more, which allowed me to connect with more people, connect with more agents, and it's just continuing to climb from there.
That's awesome. And after following you for quite some time now and seeing your journey, you also do really well at showing like your personal life in terms of like passions, hobbies. We're seeing side by sides. We're seeing alligators on the grill. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you want to kind of touch on being able to tap into that community? It's like, I know that if I was in Michigan, I was to go to Ken, and I like, if I was an outdoorsy person, or I liked adrenaline, sports, and being outside and fishing and boats, like you're my guy. But it's easy to tell that because you share it. So do you want to kind of talk about that importance of, you actually sharing your passions and hobbies to allow people to actually connect with you?
Well, I mean, when you have a client, most likely you're gonna get a client that relates to you anyway.
Yeah.
So, and with me, I am myself. I'm not gonna get up in a 3-piece suit or anything like that. I'm not gonna go drive, not knocking on anybody that drives the fancy cars, but I drive a Ford Edge, and it's paid off, so I'm good. It's got my decals on the side, but tapping into the market of people who relate to you. They don't know if they're going to relate to you if they don't know about you. It's kind of one of those things where I've heard you say it multiple times, that people know you before they even reach out to you. Mm-hmm. And the way they know you is based off of how you portray yourself on your social media, on your YouTube, the different platforms that are out there. So you want somebody to contact you already thinking that they know who you are. And the way to do that is you have to share your life. You don't only want to share the highlight reels, you can share the low light reels also. If they know that you're a genuine person, they're going to use you. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to get the side-by-sides, been able to go down to Louisiana and shoot some gator hunting. That was an experience in itself, man, because that's scary. But
no doubt.
Being able to share that, and not only that, but seeing that I was with veterans when I did that event down there in Louisiana, that was great in itself, just helping out the different organizations that are helping veterans. That's the passion that I have, is helping others. And if I could portray that on my social media, that's why people are coming to me and asking me to help them. And the thing is too, though, I have to make sure that I let people know that I do help more than just veterans.
Yeah.
I help anybody that's looking to buy or sell a house. I can help them out, because I have a lot of people who ask me, do you only focus with or do you only work with veterans? And I'm like, no, I work with everybody. That's just my focus is with them. But just because they're not a veteran doesn't mean that I'm gonna spend less time with them. I'm still gonna put forth 100% to find them a house or get their house sold.
Yeah, there's two really important concepts there. Like, just understanding, as you alluded to, that, there used to be a time where the more people you knew, the more business you did. But now we're in this new era, this digital social era, where the more people who know you, the more business you do, right? There's so many people consuming your content that you don't even know. And then they just happen to, like 6, 8, 10, 12 months down the road, reach out to you and say, oh, Ken, I've been following you. And you didn't even know. But I think that's a really important concept that you just brought up, because I see so many people kind of misconstruing or overthinking this concept of identifying my niche. And they think that if I identify my niche, nobody else will work with me. I'm going to lose all this business. And there can be an element of that, but the other side is, okay, you might lose one or two that make the assumption, don't reach out, whatever. But the amount of people that you're going to get from tapping into that niche, plus the people that are going to understand that you work with others, far surpasses your concern of not tapping into any niche at all, right?
Correct. I mean, you have to find that. And I let people know, you may not find it right at the beginning,
Yeah.
but eventually you're going to find it. Like, I didn't find that right at the beginning. It just, I mean, it kind of happened. And then when I realized that the need to have an agent that is familiar with the VA home loan process was important, because VA offers weren't being accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how much you put into there or put your effort into those offers, if the other agent on the other side wasn't educated, then they're not going to recommend their sellers to accept that offer. So that's, I mean, that's one of the things that I do also, is like, I am not only submitting that offer on behalf of my clients, but I'm also educating that listing agent about the VA home loan process and why this offer is just as good as any conventional offer that's out there. And there's been multiple times where the agent's like, oh my goodness, I wish I would have had a notepad to take all this. And I'm like, don't worry, I'll send it all to you in text message, you know? So then I start, because if I educate them, they're going to be able to help a veteran. I can't help every veteran. I already know that. But if I can help educate other agents to help veterans, then that, again, that's a win in my book. And that's just me giving back to the veteran community. So.
Yeah, that's so powerful, man. I think that that's a beautiful segue into something that, you know, is just coming to my mind, is that whole process of education. And I think there's a lot of people that will get into real estate. They understand the opportunity of VA loans. They want to capitalize on the income they know that can provide, but they're not doing their due diligence to be, you know, like you have, which is you study, you know, all the nuances of it, you know how it applies, and you have become an expert in that. Do you want to kind of talk about how you went about learning more about VA loans and how you've continued to further your knowledge about, you know, providing the best service, leveraging that strategy with your knowledge base?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just a matter of you finding the right person who is also educated, the right lenders. You know, every lender can do a VA home loan, but not every lender knows how to do a VA home loan. So I've kind of got myself with the lenders that's what they specialize in.
Mm-hmm.
It's been also going to the different classes, doing my own research, reading the different circulars that are coming out, the different policies that are coming out, knowing what the veterans are going to rate once they get that VA home loan, knowing that without the certificate of eligibility, if a lender is giving a pre-approval and they have not verified the certificate of eligibility for a veteran stating that they're eligible for the VA home loan, then that's not a pre-approval, that's a pre-qualification. Yeah. You know, and so educating agents and knowing that, educating the agents under me, knowing the difference between the two, and ensuring that whatever lender it is that you're using, they're getting that. Because the last thing you want to do is have this VA offer accepted. They didn't verify the certificate of eligibility. Now they're trying to change it to a conventional FHA. You have to go to the listing agent and they're like, oh yeah, well, another VA offer blows up, you know? Yeah. And it's just like, man, if we can mitigate that from the beginning and educate people, that's what's gonna help out. So any chance that I get to get education on the VA home loan process, I'm gonna take it. There was a lender that has actually flown me out to Dallas multiple times to get more experience with the VA process, and then also to discuss with them different things that they could do to make their company better. And that felt great, and also being able to shoot guns at the same time. So
100%, man. That's awesome. And so, you know, now my curiosity comes from how do you scale from there, in the sense that, you know, you had this stellar first year, and what I've seen many times is people put all this work into their first year, they get a bit of momentum, and then they plateau, and or they dive. And you've continued to build this multiple award-winning business year over year. Do you want to kind of explain what that process has been like, to say, here's how I was able to compound on that first year, whether it be a nurturing strategy or how you keep in touch with your clients, events, getting people together? Like, what does it look like for somebody to be able to build a foundation but scale off of it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's just the determination of always being better than everybody else. That's the mentality that I have, is that I don't want to just be average. I want to be above average, which means that I have to work to be above average, because with real estate, you only get out of real estate what you put into real estate.
Yeah.
If you only want one closing, guess what? You're going to work for one closing. If you want multiple closings, you're going to work for multiple closings, which, if you set your goals from the beginning, you'll achieve them, because you're the only one that's going to prevent yourself from achieving your own goals. So I think that what I'm doing is making sure that I set my goals, that my goals are achievable, and then ensure that I do achieve them by the end of the year. And if I do that year in and year out, then I'm going to continue the success, which that's what I've been doing. So that's what's been helping me.
That's awesome. And I think, one of the things that I've seen you and Fritz do really well is, you guys get the community together. Like, I've seen the pictures and videos of you out there on the boats and with the side-by-sides and always tapping into that. And I think you've done really well. I've tried to do my best at this with the car community, the mountain bike community, and people that I relate to. Do you want to kind of explore, like, okay, you've got one side of your business, which is evidently crushing VA loans, working with veterans, serving the people. But you've also got this other element of your business, and I'm sure they blend over, but there's some that doesn't cross over, of like that outdoor adrenaline rush community where you're out there always just being authentic, being genuine, and connecting over things that aren't related to business or your work line in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like one of those things, when people see you as a real estate agent, sometimes they don't want to talk to you because they think that's all you're going to talk about is a real estate agent. Real estate, real estate, real estate. You want to buy, you want to sell, whatever. But when you get into the other activities, you still wear your branding, but you don't shove it down their throat, and when doing that and they see, oh man, he is a normal person. We could talk, we can hang out, we can have drinks together, whatever it may be, then they're going to be more likely to remember, hey, I remember seeing that Homes with Ken, and I'm ready to buy or sell. Let me reach out to him, because he wasn't pushy. He wasn't trying to shove it down my throat. I met him outside of the real estate atmosphere, and he's down to earth, or whatever it may be. Same thing goes with the veteran community too. I'm actually president of 92 for 22, which is a nonprofit organization that we raise awareness for veteran suicide and PTS within the community. And while we're doing events like that, I'm there because I'm helping the veteran community. I'm not there to push, hey, let's go buy a house, let's use the VA home loan, nothing like that. But there are times to where not the individuals that we're assisting, but the other supporters see that I'm helping veterans, and that, and he also does real estate. Maybe I can work with him. But I mean, a prime example of just giving your time back and not expecting anything out of return. Just this past week, we were at the Veterans Cemetery helping with the wreaths across America to stage the wreaths before today's event. So, and just doing different things like that, people will notice you. People will notice that you're committed to helping others. Because if you get into something, say for example, the side-by-sides, right? If I get into that community just so that I could try to get more clients, people are going to see right through you. You're not authentic. They're going to see that you're only doing it for one reason. Same thing with veterans. If I'm going to different veteran events and people are like, oh, every time Ken comes here, he's just shoving it down our throat that he's a real estate agent. they're going to see right through that and they're not going to use you. But if you are truly passionate about what you're doing and who you're doing it for and why you're doing it, people are going to see you a lot differently.
Definitely, man. I love that. And I think that's, is such a great way to kind of blend into this next kind of question as we start to pull this full circle is, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see people making in one of two avenues? Either A, veterans just getting into real estate, or B, people trying to properly leverage VA loans. Is there any kind of mistakes that you see come up consistently that people should maybe avoid?
Well, I mean, I think that the biggest mistake with people coming into real estate is expecting stuff just to be thrown into your lap.
Yeah.
Because we may make it look easy on social media, but everybody doesn't see what we do in the background. So when you get your license and you're just sitting on your computer, just doing whatever it is you do and expect, why is my phone not ringing? Why are people not DMing me? Why don't I have any clients? It's because you're not out beating the streets. You got to be out there beating the streets first. Get 5 business cards. Make it your goal to pass out those 5 business cards every day. Eventually, somebody will end up calling you. Somebody will talk to you. Somebody will say, "Oh, I remember this guy that gave me this agent that gave me a business card," and go from there. But you can't just sit there and expect work to come. That's all part of having that discipline too, and being the discipline and the self-reliance. You got to rely on yourself to get out there and do what needs to be done to get those clients. So that's the biggest thing, is just coming into the business thinking that it's easy and not putting in the work to be able to ensure that you're successful.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And I think, the other thing about that is looking at these misconceptions that you touched on earlier, but I would just like you to kind of reiterate of, there's all these stigmas and misconceptions about VA loans, and lack of education can lead to, yes, deals falling apart, things like that. What are some of those things that you see people commonly misunderstand about VA loans, or that they don't properly understand?
Some of them are that the VA appraisal always comes in lower than any other loan that's out there, which, I mean, the appraisal is an appraisal. They're going based off of the same comps that anybody else would go off of. But the benefit that you have of the VA is you have 2 opportunities to where, if that property doesn't come in at value, you have 2 opportunities to bring that value up. There's a thing called Tidewater, which means that the appraiser could not find the purchase price, couldn't find the value of the house. That gives the listing agent and the buyer's agent the opportunity to provide more comps to the appraiser to hopefully get that value where it needs to be. And if for some reason that doesn't happen and it's still under, then you have a reconsideration of value option. So then they can now go to the VA and ask for the reconsideration of value to possibly get it up to the purchase price. So any other loan, it's like, or any other term, whatever the appraiser says, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And there's no fighting it. There's no trying to change their mind or anything, because once the appraiser gives that value, they're not going to take your phone call anymore, because they're like,
Yeah.
I know they're upset at me. I don't want to take the call. But, with the VA, you have that possibility of, if it doesn't come in at value. But at the same time too, I don't know the exact number, but I know in 2022 that VA appraisals came in above value more than the other appraisers out there, appraisals. And then just this past week, we had an appraisal get ordered, and we received it back within 2 days, and it was above value as is, no repairs required. So it's like, not only knowing how to utilize the VA home loan, knowing the process of the VA home loan process, but also who you work with to get to that process done streamlined, no issues, no hiccups. That way you can mitigate anything, like by me knowing about the VA home loan process, knowing what the appraiser looks at. I always tell my clients, like, you're looking at this house to make sure it's a home for you.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it to see, is there any issues that we need to mitigate prior to the appraiser coming out? Because the things that they look for, they're just safety items. They're safety issues, and they want to make sure that you're not getting into a money pit, that your investment is going to be an investment. So they're looking at like a chipped paint around the windowsills, around the windows, on the walls, whatever it may be. If there's any chipped paint, we got to get that mitigated prior to closing. But if you know that it's going to need to happen before closing, and the appraiser is going to call it out, why not get it fixed before the appraiser gets there? Yeah. Guess what? You get it fixed before the appraiser gets there, you just saved your client $150. Because if the appraiser calls it out, now the appraiser has to come back, make sure, yep, they did paint that wall, or they did paint that windowsill. Thanks for the $150. Now your buyer has to pay more money out of pocket. So, I mean, you're doing them injustice if you don't know what is being looked for. Handrails on stairs. Any stairs that's any steps that's 3 or more requires a handrail. So making sure that that's on there too. And if it's not, getting it done before the appraiser gets there. Just the little things that will allow the process to move forward without any hiccups is what you need to learn before you're getting into that transaction. So.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think that's one of the biggest differentiating factors of people that, you know, create this unforgettable experience where, like, oh, Ken pointed out all these different things that nobody else talked about. And just having that knowledge base is like, I've seen agents that go into the mechanical room and they can't point out the difference between like a furnace and an AC unit. Like, it's, you know, it's unbelievable, right? And how are you going to properly advise your clients, and why should they continue to work with you? Because if something goes wrong and you didn't bring it up and it could have been obvious, well, what does that look like on you? So, you know, as we bring this full circle, I think it's incredible just to understand those principles of educating yourself, always learning, making sure that you actually can not just say, but show that you're an industry expert or a VA loan expert, and be able to provide that level of quality of service to your clients. You know, we always like to pull things full circle with why you obviously made the decision to join EXP and partner with our group. But I think the more important element to that is, what can people expect when partnering with you as well? Because, you know, this year wasn't easy for a lot of people, and next year is not looking any easier for a lot of people. And I think it's really important to understand that concept that if nothing changes, nothing changes. Meaning if you're a veteran and you're currently struggling as an agent, you know, why not align with people that have helped veterans thrive as agents, and looking at that as an opportunity to say, hey, maybe there's somebody out there like Ken that can pour into me and help me get up and running in my market. So why did you partner with us in EXP, and what can people expect when joining and partnering with you?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing was when the different resources were explained to me of what EXP provides. I mean, that was something different that I didn't have before. For example, my website, www.homeswithken.com. Prior to coming to EXP, that always got sent to the brokerage's profile of me. So any leads would go to the broker, and they wouldn't know that they came to me. But with EXP, like within days of me signing up with EXP, I had my own website. So now I was getting my organic leads coming to me through KV Core, which that wasn't provided before. Having the ability to be a part of classes throughout the day that I want to pick by going through the cloud or to the world and figuring out which classes I wanted to partake in, I was able to go in and sit there in my house, getting educated. You know, I didn't have that before. Maybe, yeah, we would have like a day that we would get together throughout the month, and it was always the same thing. We would have it, and we would have the inspector, we would have a mortgage officer, we would have, you know, it was like, okay, we went 3 months, okay, now it's going to start all over again, we're going to have another inspector here. And it's like, you know, so it wasn't the education. Yes, it was education, but it wasn't the education that we needed to grow our business. And finding out that with EXP, all the top producers teach agents. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at each other as teammates instead of rivals.
Yeah.
You know, I want you to be successful. They want me to be successful, to where a traditional brokerage, it's cutthroat. It's like, no, I don't want you to be successful. I'm not going to teach you what I know and what's assisting me in being successful, because then you're going to use it against me.
Yeah.
That's not the way it is with EXP. With EXP, it's like you want everybody to be successful, because the more agents that are successful, the better for the company, because as you know, we're agent owned. Mm-hmm. If the company thrives, we're going to thrive. Our stocks are going to go up. That means that we're going to have more money in our pocket. We're setting ourselves up for the future, so that eventually one day we can be sitting on that beach sipping on Mai Tais. Yeah. And that's just the way it is. And so the education, the stocks, being able to have, also having the revenue share. Obviously, having revenue share, you want people that are within the same line as you to be successful. So why not teach them everything that you know? That's just, I mean, to me, it's mind-boggling that more agents don't say, okay, I want to find out why he went over there. What is it about EXP that caused him to leave the brokerage that he was so happy with and that he was always posting about, and come to EXP, and now he's doing the same thing with EXP? Well, I always tell people the reason why is because with EXP, I'm actually able to have ownership in the company. I'm actually getting more money. EXP has paid me more money, and I haven't even hit 2 years yet. In February, will be 2 years with EXP, and they have already paid me more money than I have put into it. Mm-hmm. What other brokerage is going to do that for you? Yeah. So, I mean, those are the different things. I also got licensed in Florida. Mm-hmm. So finding out with EXP, oh my goodness, I can be licensed in as many states as I want and still have one cap and one brokerage fee, and that's it. Other places where, when I was looking at going down to Florida, it was like, oh, well, we don't have a brokerage down there. We can open one though. Yeah. And I'm like, it's going to take a lot longer for you to open one down there than it would for me to try to seek other opportunities. So, you know, that's one of the things too that brought me over, is knowing that I can be an agent down in Florida and then also be up here in Michigan, and one fee, one cap.
100%, man. And again, just, you know, to reiterate, I think it's so powerful just looking at that opportunity to create these partnerships of, you don't have to be on this journey alone. And I think a lot of people are lost and confused, and they start to discount themselves and feel like, well, maybe they can't do it. And I'm a firm believer is that you can do it. You're just not aligning with the right people to show you how to do it. Because especially if you look at veterans, like if you give a veteran a proven path, they will execute. The problem is that most veterans join brokerages that don't have that proven path, so they're lost. And, you know, the fact that veterans and anybody gets the opportunity to partner with you and get your help based on your actual experience, you know, it's tough to ask for anything more than that when it comes to aligning with people that can actually help your production, because they have helped their own production get to the highest level.
I mean, that's the thing, man. If a veteran comes on my team, I am teaching them everything that I know. I mean, anybody who comes on my team, but more specifically, like, veterans want to be around other veterans, because we relate. We have the same mindset, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good, you know. But seeing them be successful, especially the ones that are on my team right now, seeing the success that they have, this the joy that, I mean, it's kind of like having a baby, you know, that happiness that you have, you know, that's the same feelings that you have, because you are seeing somebody grow from not knowing anything about real estate to now just crushing it out there with the VA home loan process or in real estate in general. And it's just like, man, you know, I helped that. That's one of the things with my team, Homes with Ken. I only ask my agents to be on the team for 1 year. And the reason why I only ask them to be on the team for 1 year is because I want them to spread their wings and fly themselves. I want them to go off and build their own team. Take everything that I taught you and that we trained for that full year You go out there, you make great things happen, and you start to build your own team and do the same thing. And then it'll just keep going on and on and on from there. And I've had some agents that have left after the year. I always tell them, I was like, you can either re-enlist or you can get out. You
Yeah.
know, you want to up that contract, or you want to go and be on your own. It's like, it's no harm, no foul. I want you to do it, so I'm not going to be mad at you if you did it. I mean, it kind of goes to one of those things. You either want to be on the team, you don't want to be on the team. If you want to grow, I'm going to support you to grow, and let's grow together. And if you need any help, my phone is still on. You can hit me up in emails, whatever it may be. Just because you're not on the team anymore doesn't mean that I'm not going to give you the support that you need.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I think again, just like, the last thing I want to touch on, and just to end with this, is like that camaraderie, being a veteran, and having that community, that camaraderie, that movement of people that are all bought into the same vision and mission as you is so, so important. And I think that's what our group has done incredibly well, and being able to align with you and Fritz, who are both vets, and I think it's just amazing. So again, thank you, man, for being here today and for being able to pour into people. Again, guys, as mentioned, I'm going to link all of Ken's incredible content below, but also, if you want to chat with him about getting his direct support as well as mine to scale your business going forward, please book a call with Ken. You can chat with him one-on-one on Zoom, and I know that you're going to be in hands that will take your business and life to the next level. So thank you, Ken.
Thank you for having me, Mike. I appreciate it.
You bet, guys. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.